Hey everybody, this is Deb with Concept Crochet, and today we're going to talk about crochet thread. There's not a lot out there about this, and it's something that if you want to do doilies or more delicate work, you're going to need to know about the difference with thread as opposed to regular yarn. Well, first of all, the thing with thread is it has numbers on it, and the numbers, the smaller the number, the larger the thread. I know this seems a little backwards, but that's the way it works. So if you have a 3, that's going to be bigger than a 10. This is the 10. Okay? So you can see the difference in the size of the thread. It is definitely thicker when you have this one over here. Let me pull that out. You have this one as opposed to this one. And when you see them side by side, it makes it easier for you to see the difference. Okay, so now let's talk about more thread, because not only can you have these two, they're very common. The 3 is probably as low as it goes. There is also, if you're familiar with embroidery, that's usually about a 5. And then this thread right here is what is probably the most common to use, the 10. So, and then you have a 20, which is considered fine. Let me see if I can find a tail on that. Okay, so we have the 20 and we have the 10. Let's get those side by side so you can see them. The difference between a 20 and a 10, it's quite a bit of difference there. And then if you can also have a 30, and there are different sizes that are smaller than that, but this is probably the smallest you're going to be able to find in the store if you want to get started. And really, if you're working with most projects, these are the ones that you would work with. And it all depends on how fine you want the different project that you're working on. Here's the difference between this is the 30, this is the 20. So not as much of a difference there. It's not as easy to see, but when you put in the 10, there's quite a bit of difference. Okay? You can see the difference there. So this is what you have with the different threads. Now, there are lots of colors that are available in the 3s and in the 10s. You'll get a lot more colors, but when you get into the 20s and 30s, a lot of them are either natural like this one, or they'll be white like this. So most of them in this area are like that. And there's lots of patterns for doilies online that you can get on YouTube, but the funny thing is nobody ever talks about the thread. When I was first getting into the doily thing, I really liked the way they looked, but I couldn't find out how to get that, and I didn't understand that it was called crochet thread and it's not a type of yarn. And when you compare it to like a regular yarn, you know, you're talking major difference here. And so this is like a size 4 yarn, and you can see big difference. Of course, you're going to need different size of the hooks for this. They do give you the hook size that's recommended. Remember, hook size is recommended, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to use that hook. You can modify it. You can use up or down. Now this says you can use a D3 or an E4. I would suggest you could even use a C or some of the finer hooks. And we're going to talk about the steel hooks in another video. So again, you can look at them and you can see where it is. You see on this one, they recommend a 7, which is 1.5 millimeter. And with the hooks, it's a very similar thing with the hooks. When you get into the steel hooks that work for these, not the ABC that will work with this, but when you get into the steel hooks, you're going to find that the bigger the number, the finer it is as well. So it kind of goes like with the thread. And the same thing here. This is recommended that you use a size 10, which is a 1 millimeter. And for this, they recommend that you use a 12, which is a 0.75 millimeter. So that's what we have on those. And we're going to talk more about how to use the steel hooks and how to find the steel hooks even. Because sometimes, you know, if you're new to doilies, that might be a difficult thing to find. And I know some people say doilies are out of mode and, you know, they're old-fashioned, whatever. I think they look really cool. And especially like using colors with them. So they do take a long time because when you do the same stitches, they come out so much smaller. And we're going to talk about size in a future video. So that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.